Hello, my name is Kim, and in this reading we are going to find out what it is that you can look forward to and or expect this month of May of 2025. So this reading will be divided into 4 parts. In part 1, I will be sharing with you an intuitively channeled message. In part 2, I will be working with oracle cards to get an overview of the month as well as find out what the main themes and or lessons of May will be. In part 3, I will be working with tarot cards to find out what will be the challenging aspects of May, as well as get some advice and or guidance on how to approach these challenges to obtain the best possible outcome out of them. And then we will find out what it is that you can look forward to in May. Lastly, for part 4, I will be drawing out extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. Okay, but with that being said, let us now take a closer look at the options. So there are 3 different groups to choose from. Group 1 is Milkvetch. Group 2 is Bupleurum. Group 3 is Lemon Verbena. Please take a moment to meditate on the options, and whichever you are drawn to the most, then that will be the group and a reading meant for you. And once you have selected, please head on over to either the description box or the pinned comment in the comment section down below, where the timestamps that will allow for you to skip ahead to your selected group can be found. Okay? And if you are ready, then let us get started. Let's go! Hello, if you were drawn to Group 1, Milkvetch, bienvenidos to your reading. So the message, staying on the path, came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group, which could be an encouragement or a suggestion to continue doing what it is that you are doing or working on or have been working on, especially maybe in the month of April or in the previous months. But it could also be indicating that in May, you will be continuing to work on or focus on whatever it is that you have been working on so far. So this month feels more like a continuation, in other words. Now, I did experience an itching on my right palm, which to me indicates that you will be receiving money or there will be financial gain, financial profit in the month of May, okay? So that may be something to look forward to. But now let us move on to the cards. By the way, the flower or the plant Milkvetch could be of significance. I believe this is a plant or flower that symbolizes or represents resilience, which I feel is pretty fitting because it does seem like you are being advised to continue or to persevere or to hold on, not give up. Continue working on, continue building upon, in other words. But this first card will give us kind of the overarching energy or theme of your spread. Ooh, interesting. And we have the 9th house with Saturn in Sagittarius and the key term fulfillment. And quite interesting that we actually have a sack of money in the illustration. So I do feel like you will be seeing financial profit this month, or you will be receiving money. Anyone who owed you money will be paying you back this month. And if you have been waiting for some kind of compensation, if you have been waiting for financial aid, for example, you will be receiving it in the month of May. And I'm really being drawn to how this person has their hand outstretched because it does make me think of a gesture of receiving or waiting to receive. So I feel like things will be faring pretty well for you in the money department. But with Sagittarius being here, some of you could be a Sagittarius sun, moon, or rising sign, or you could have a Sagittarius placement somewhere in your natal chart, maybe in your 9th house, but that doesn't have to be the case for these messages to apply to you. That is, of course, if they do end up resonating with you, because Sagittarius could simply be indicating that this month you are going to be seeing some kind of forward movement, progression, or progress. My eyes are being drawn to this hook here, which makes me think of catching something. So this month, you yourself might feel like you got pretty lucky with something. The expression that is coming to mind is nice catch. So, seeing that we have this finger pointing to this dagger, one of the things that is coming to mind is this month, you will be pretty good at catching mistakes, errors, or anything that is sketchy or is amiss or is missing before it ends up becoming an inconvenience. And this could be why some of you will be feeling quite lucky in the month of May, because this will prevent any kind of mishaps and it will allow for things to run smoothly. So this month you might be experiencing little to no inconveniences, or if you do end up experiencing some inconveniences, like needing to fix the problem that you spotted, it will be dealt with fairly quickly. And seeing that there are so many symbols in this illustration, it makes me think of good omens, symbols of protection. So this month you might feel like the divine is really on your side, or you might feel like you are being divinely protected, divinely looked after. And of course you always are, but based on what is occurring in your reality and how you might feel like you're getting pretty lucky in some aspects, you might feel this to be more so the case in the month of May. And other people might even point it out like, whoa, you got pretty lucky there. You must have an angel looking after you, or the divine must be looking after you. You seem like you have someone on your side or someone protecting you. Now with the word fulfillment, I do sense that this month something is going to be fulfilled. Something is going to come to completion. The expression done deal came to mind. So something could be a done deal. The contract could be signed. There could be some kind of agreement. I feel like something will be finalized in the month of May. And because we do have this money bag here, it does make me think of a business deal, or someone being or getting hired or getting commissioned for a job or for a project. So if you have been applying for jobs, or if you have been in the process of getting hired, I feel like you will be getting a job. It will be a done deal sometime in the month of May. It could also be that at some point in the month of May, you will be completing a project. So for example, for those of you who are self-employed, freelancers, and you have been working on a project, you may be completing this project, turning it in, presenting it, whatever the case may be, and receiving your commission. Because I do see something along the lines of receiving a final payment, or giving the final payment, and a case in a way, or a business deal being closed. A select few who chose this group may be retiring or enjoying of your retirement this month. I also see some of you receiving some kind of benefits. It could be via work, an institution, or program. But let me pull out the rest of the cards before I go more in depth. You could also be making negotiations this month. And if you are being presented with a contract, remember what I mentioned at the beginning, you will be spotting anything that is iffy. Right? So you will be doing a good job at, for example, carefully reading through the contract before signing the contract or declining it. But we have, the 7th house with partnerships, relationships, marriage, contracts, business partners, and sharing. Yeah, so some of you could definitely be presented with a contract or signing a contract. Maybe it's you who is offering a contract or some kind of deal to somebody else, or you are contracting someone for a job. Maybe you are an employer and you're employing quite a few people this month, or you will be, because with partnerships here, I do see you working with another, whether it be a single party, or a team or an entire company. The 9th house does make me think of like institutions for whatever reason. So you could be working at an institution, for an institution, but that doesn't have to be the case. Some of you could be applying to an institution. So this makes me think of applying for university, for a college or a study program. Or if you have, I do see that you have been accepted or you will be getting accepted at some point in the month of May. Fulfillment just make me think of fulfilling all of the requirements. So again, if you are in some kind of application process or you do end up going through one in the month of May, know that you are a really good candidate because you do fulfill all of the requirements, or you will be fulfilling all of the requirements. You could also be starting some kind of business. Maybe you are opening a company or a business with another, and there are certain requirements that you have to go through for this to be done. And so the whole month of May could be spent on like meeting those requirements. And if you're pretty worried about that or concerned about that, this is just your reassurance that all will go well. You will see this whole application process through. And remember that expression, done deal. This is a done deal. So you will get to open up your business or start your business or whatever it may be for your case. And I do notice we have like a symbol of a clover here, and clovers make me think of good luck, good fortune. It also makes me think of stability. So I feel like things will be running smoothly this month, or again, if you are faced with some kind of inconvenience, it will be very, very minor. It will be something that will come and go. So in retrospect, the month of May will feel like a breeze because in general, things went pretty smoothly or will go pretty smoothly. And these are too many cards, so I'm going to try again. Hey. Look, we have number 65 with yawn and boredom, and the message, there's a situation that no longer needs your attention. There is boredom that is to be reached, so say goodbye for now. This may also be an indication that you need more sleep. Whatever the case, it's time to take a break from any monotony, whether in thoughts, people, or situations. I chuckled a bit because I was talking about, this month running smoothly, you possibly not facing or experiencing much inconveniences or problems, and then yawn made me think of exactly that. Like, things are running so smoothly that it might get pretty boring at some point, and this doesn't have to be a bad thing, right? I feel like at times we might confuse peace with boredom. And so for some, that could be the case. This month, where things are so peaceful, or in general quite peaceful, that you might be feeling pretty bored, or you might feel like things are going or running pretty slow at some point. But that could be one way of interpreting it, because the other way that you could look at it is things are pretty peaceful, so peaceful that you can take your time with certain things, that you can relax, take a breather, maybe even take a nap in the evening, right? That's just an example. But with these, this could definitely be indicating that this month you will be getting better sleep, or your sleep quality will be improving. Or this could be a heads up to some of you that you do need to get a little bit more restful sleep. Don't overdo it is what's coming to mind. If you can hit the hay early, then do so. Don't push yourself to stay up pretty late and miss out on good hours of sleep if it isn't necessary. Yeah, because I don't know why the 7th house made me think of needing to wake up earlier. So some of you might be needing to wake up earlier, or your schedule might be changing quite a bit this month. And so you might also be needing to change your sleeping schedule to adjust to your new overall schedule, so that you could get enough hours of sleep to feel well rested and fresh, focused when it's time to wake up or get ready for the day or for the night. Yeah, because we do have the planet of Saturn, which is the planet of discipline and structure. So with boredom here, you might need to settle into some kind of routine or follow some kind of plan is what's coming through, so that you won't end up feeling disorganized, or so that you will have a better handle as to what your responsibilities are, or you will have enough time to attend to all of your responsibilities and also not miss out on, for example, good sleep and time for you as well, or time to be or spend quality time with loved ones. Yeah, because for whatever reason, I feel like this month you might acquire a new responsibility, or you might be integrating something new into your day-to-day routine, into your schedule. This new responsibility, whatever it is that you are integrating, could be the very thing that will require for you to make some adjustments in your overall schedule, maybe even your lifestyle. Yeah, so one example that comes to mind is if you're getting a job or you're working now. That might end up in you needing to make a few changes, right? And this boat here, this ship more like, it's making me think of transportation. So some of you could be commuting quite a bit this month, and maybe that in itself is what is asking for you to maybe take a better look at your schedule or change things up a bit to make time for this going back and forth or commuting. Also, what I'm seeing is you might have a lot of spare or free time in between. That is how it's coming through. So you're being given a heads up about this because you're being let known that this in between or this extra spare or free time, it doesn't have to go to waste per se. Instead, you could utilize it or make use of it. All right, this money symbol here is making me think of currency. Time is currency, or it could be. So it's up to you how you invest it. And so, you know, with boredom, you could utilize this time to get rest or intentionally allow yourself to get bored. Because being bored is not a bad thing. Boredom can help for the mind or for one to reset. But if not, you could utilize this time to learn something new, to get some reading done. If you're a student, you could utilize this time to get some studying done or to catch up on your homework or to review. If you're not students, you could still utilize this time for self-studying, self-learning, learning a new language, practicing something, educating yourself on certain topics. Or you could utilize this time to maybe to meet people, to socialize a bit, to network depending on the situation. Because for others of you, you could utilize this time to get acquainted with something, to get familiarized with an environment, for example. Yeah, so it will depend on your situation, and you might need to use your imagination a little bit or just look into what it is that you can do and what is a priority. But I feel like you're being let known ahead of time that you could definitely make good use of your time or your extra time during the month of May. Okay, and you could be making a lot of progress with something during this extra time that you are given. But now I'm going to move on to El Tarot to find out what will be some of the challenging aspects of this month. And the challenges I will be looking into will be those that are meant to help you propel forward. Those that are here to teach you something or to help you evolve, to help you grow, and so forth. Okay. Ooh, okay, so that was quick. So we have the Five of Wands in the upright with conflict, clash of egos, and fights. And we also have the Strength card, and it did fall out in the horizontal, so I'm going to interpret it in this way. So upright, we have courage, overcoming control, and in the reversal, we have vulnerability, weakness, and self-doubt. So the Strength card is the 8th major arcana of this deck. So the number 8 could be of significance, but the Strength card is also associated with the zodiac sign Leo. So some of you could be a Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign, or you could have a Leo placement somewhere in your natal chart, but it could also be that a Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising sign individual or someone who has Leo in their 5th house may be playing a significant role in your life this month. And something that was coming through before I pulled out these cards is this month you will be presented with quite a few opportunities to meet people of different backgrounds, of different beliefs, different maybe ideologies, and possibly values. And with these two cards, I do feel this to be the case. So if you are someone who is pretty set on your ways, or if you have very strong beliefs, then you could find yourself clashing a bit with some people who have opposing beliefs or ideas. I do see you debating with someone who you're not really seeing eye to eye with, or just simply someone who you think very differently from. Because because the Strength card is making me think of someone who is standing firm in their beliefs or who is advocating, right? Someone who is speaking up or speaking courageously about what it is that they believe in. And I say courageously because some of these things that you might be advocating for or speaking up about could seen or perceived by many as unpopular, right? Like unpopular opinions. Yet what is also coming through is depending on the setting, depending on, let's say, the context, there will be certain situations in which you will feel a bit restrained, or like you have to restrain yourself a bit because maybe it's not appropriate for you to passionately speak up about something. So I'm thinking of, like, for whatever reason, of a class setting. For example, a professor with their students, right? They're having a discussion and a student says something that the professor doesn't really agree with. And because this is a class setting where I think some level of professionalism is required, the professor might need to hold back a bit in outright disagreeing with their students, or maybe they could share their disagreement, but if the professor feels very passionate about this, maybe they have to kind of tone it down a bit to keep things amiable and keep things respectful. Because the Five of Wands makes me think of a very passionate and outspoken energy, especially with the Strength card. Sometimes the Five of Wands can indicate aggression, but what I'm more so sensing here is like someone who their tone might come off as a bit aggressive, but it's not because they are trying to be, but it's more because of the level of passion. Like, you know, when someone gets really into a topic or into a debate, they could raise their voice a little bit, or they could start moving their arms quite a bit. Their facial expression might change. And so with the Strength card having showed up in the horizontal position, I do feel like this is speaking about like temperament, right? Controlling one's temper or keeping things leveled. The Strength card in the horizontal position is making me think also of being level-headed, not allowing for your emotions to get the best of you. This is not to say repress or suppress your emotions, but instead it's more so talking about emotional regulation. Maybe being aware or having that kind of awareness of when it's appropriate, when it's adequate to speak up without filter, for example, or without restraint, versus when it's best to tone it down a bit, right? Because the word moderation is coming to mind. So yeah, I feel like these two cards are speaking about like emotional regulation and having that situational and social awareness. So this is not about keeping silent or keeping quiet, but it's more so about knowing how to express yourself in a way that is conducive or beneficial to you or to a situation that will help improve it rather than, you know, make it a lot worse, to put it bluntly. The Strength card also makes me think of boundaries. So at times you might need to, or it will be best for you to establish boundaries. The Five of Wands also makes me think of knowing when a line has been crossed, or knowing when you yourself are crossing some kind of line, so that then you can have that awareness of, oh, okay, it's time to pull back a bit, or it's time to walk away, or not escalate the situation any further. Because some battles are just not worth fighting. Because this is just an example, which is that you can win a petty argument, but maybe that will result in you losing something bigger. Because the Five of Wands can indicate competition. So be very mindful and careful with not letting your ego or your pride get the best of you, or that competitiveness, if you do have that, of needing to win or needing to best someone or needing to be right, get in your way of doing what is actually best for you. Or being reasonable is also what is coming through, or resulting in you losing your head in a situation. Yeah, because looking at this Five of Wands, having this person point, again, we have a hand pointing. So this gesture could be of significance, but what I was going to say is having this person pointing possibly to an exit, it makes me think of someone who is choosing to exit a situation that isn't worth their time, or choosing to not engage with an energy that isn't worth their time. Like choosing to say no. This is reminding me of the expression, choose your battles carefully. Okay, so this month, I feel like the advice is to choose your battles carefully. What's actually worth fighting for, and especially fighting over. Okay, but now I'm going to look into what is something that you can look forward to this month. Sometimes we end up winning more or coming out on top when we say no to a petty situation rather than engage with it. Oftentimes that is the case. But for what it is that you can look forward to, we have the Page of Coins in the upright with young but grounded, solid beginning, and strong foundation. I love this first message, young but grounded, because I feel like that is how you might be coming out of this month. If you allow yourself to learn the lessons of this month and approach the challenges with maturity and level-headedness. So this month you might be seen by a lot of people as someone who is quite wise, mature for your age. The Page of Coins also makes me think of someone who is very professional, someone who is responsible, and who is a good candidate. That is how it's coming through. The word respectable also came to mind. So you might be winning a lot of people's respect this month based on your personality, also especially based on how you handle certain situations. But the Page of Coins is letting me know that this month you definitely will be, what just came to mind is you will be winning a lot of good points. I don't know what that might be about. What came to mind is you will be winning the favor of a lot of people. And it's not because you're trying to. Again, it will be more so because of how you're handling things, how you handle yourself. Definitely it could be because of your work ethic, your professionalism, your dedication to whatever it is that you're doing. But the expression winning good points could also be indicating that if you're students, you will be doing quite well at school, right? So if you have like quizzes or exams, I feel like you will be getting good grades, getting passing grades. Some of you might be getting extra credits, extra points this month. For those of you who are working and this applies to you, I do see you getting a bonus or maybe receiving a raise in your salary. I do see you getting something extra this month. So for those of you who are self-employed or you provide some kind of service, you could be receiving quite a few tips or a very generous tip this month. I also see you receiving really positive or good feedback. The word recommendation came to mind. So there could be one or more people who will be recommending you. So again, if you offer a service, I feel like those who you offer a service to will be quite pleased with the services that you provide, with your work ethic, maybe with your customer service, and they will be recommending you, which will be good for your business and good for your image. I see that this month there is an opportunity to create a really good reputation, create a really good image, because with the Page of Coins, I do feel like you're coming through as a rising star is what came to mind. It makes me think of like rookies. Is that a word that is still used? Like the New Artist Award, and everyone is in anticipation of what this new artist will create, what they will do next, because they show great potential. That is kind of the vibe I'm getting from this Page of Coins and from you guys. So I feel like the advice or the suggestion for this month is keep doing you. Keep holding your head up high and set those boundaries, stand your ground when needed, and you will be good. Because I do see you coming through as quite respectable. And so there's something here about people will know to not mess with you, or people will know that you mean business because you do mean business. You're here to work. You're here to do well. You're here to improve, to make progress. The Page of Coins is the energy of a learner, of an apprentice, someone who is here to grow and to build or climb their way up. This is someone whose aim is to succeed and to do well and to do a good job, right? Because they know that their name, their reputation is on the line. They know that it is up to them to create like strong foundations and a solid beginning. So just to put it bluntly, I feel like if you're beginning or starting anything this month, this will be a solid beginning. You will have a really good start, or you will make the best out of this beginning. You will create a solid foundation for whatever it is that is coming up next. There's something here about making the best out of this situation. I feel like that's exactly what you're doing. And for those of you who are, continuing on with something, I feel like you're doing a pretty good job of creating or building something solid. But let me pull out a clarifier, I mean. Some of you could be going through a probation period, and if you are, I feel like it's going to go pretty well for you. Like I said, you're coming through as a really good candidate. Oh, look what we have, the Magician, perfect. With resourcefulness, manifestation, and make things happen. You're coming through as the Magician. People are seeing you as the Magician. The Magician is the #1 major arcana of the deck. And this card speaks about assertion and leadership. You're coming through as someone who is resourceful, someone who is reliable, someone who shows amazing leadership skills or qualities, or someone who has the potential to be an amazing leader, to be at the head of something, maybe even to start something of their own. Some of you could actually be starting something of your own. I did speak about possibly opening up a business or establishing maybe a corporation. And if that is the case, I feel like things are going pretty well for you guys. This feels like a good start, like a solid beginning, as mentioned previously. The Magician and the Page of Coins is making me think of someone who has their self-image down, or who already has like an idea of what the image of their business will be, for example, or already has some reputation. They already have a good reputation. Maybe they already have some level of popularity or credibility is what is coming through. Yeah, as mentioned, I feel like you're being recommended, or someone has recommended you. There are a lot of people who think highly of you, or they have their eye on you, not in a creepy way, not in a bad way, but more like, I am anticipating what group 1 will do next because I'm looking forward to it. And I know they're going to create great things, or I'm just eager to know what it is that they're going to do next. Because you're coming through as a creator with the Magician. And the Magician also indicates someone who is quite skillful, or someone who has become quite skillful at a craft because of all the practice that they have done. And so with the Magician and the Page of Coins, you're being let know that there is potential for you to become quite skillful, proficient, or good at something if you stay dedicated, right? If you continue practicing, if you continue honing your skills per se. And some of you might already have reached this level of proficiency. Or this month you'll see yourself that you're getting better at something, or that something is becoming a lot easier for you, or like you're getting a better handle on something. There's also something here about becoming adjusted or feeling more adjusted, maybe to a new environment, to a new setting, to a new workplace, a job, or a routine, a schedule. Yeah, the Magician is making me think of, you've got it. You've got it down, like it's a piece of cake. So it's okay if your moves or your skills are pretty rusty at first, because you can polish them. And maybe this is already a trajectory you've been in, because a lot of you could already have reached this Magician state. And so these 2 cards are simply here to remind you to give yourself a pat on the back, because you didn't get here just because. It took days, weeks, months, maybe years of preparation, of practice, of trial and error to get to this point. And so celebrate you, celebrate your persistence, your perseverance, your efforts, because they're worth celebrating, they're worth acknowledging and admiring. You know, the master didn't become a master just because. They were a student at some point. Yeah, and I feel like if this is resonating, if this is your case, where you have years of experience under your belt, I feel like this is what is adding to your credibility. This is why I feel some people are looking to you this month and like pointing to you and saying they're the real deal. They're the OG. Yeah, so I feel like this month you're reaching some new level of skill, maybe mastery, or you're unlocking a new skill is also what is coming through. Some of you could be taking on a new hobby or investing more in a hobby or interest. This will be especially true for those of you who will find yourselves with more time in your hands. This hobby may end up becoming your new passion, and for some, your business or profession. Okay, but some of you could actually be witches, or you could do spell work. You could be diviners. Yeah, and I see you reaching a new level of proficiency, or like I said, you could be unlocking a new talent. A new spell is also what is coming through. Maybe a new method of divination, or you could be creating something of your own. Maybe your years of experience is now allowing you the comfortability and maybe the confidence to try something of your own, to experiment and to create something of your own, something maybe unique, something maybe never seen before. I thought of like a new modality, for example. Or it's giving you the confidence simply to explore and to experiment, to venture outside of the traditional. Yeah, because with boredom here, if you have been getting or feeling pretty bored with something, then instead of just like pushing through this, you're deciding to take some form of action to address this. Trying something new, mixing things up a bit, maybe revamping. The word reimagining came to mind, so you could be doing that. Also recreating, maybe recreating something of the past, but with a new twist. Ooh, what just came to mind out of the blue was like giving props, like giving recognition, giving props, or referencing that which inspired you. That's just something that came to mind. But I do see a possibility for reinvention or creation, creating something new. And definitely something new could be created this month out of boredom, right? Out of this necessity for stimulation, to get out of the mundane or get out of something repetitive. Like I said, boredom sometimes is the gateway for major breakthroughs. Because we do have the Page of Coins with the Magician, which indicates resourcefulness, this month I do see you getting pretty thrifty, pretty wise with how you're handling your money, your spending habits. For example, some of you could be looking into saving. Yeah, because I see you setting money aside. But also you could be getting pretty crafty, which means that you could be upcycling, you could be, as mentioned, thrifting or DIYing as a way to save up money or to make the most out of your resources of what you currently do have. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. And if you are up to it, if you want to, you can also get a more personalized message. And hopefully these personalized messages will also give you insight or a more detailed look as to what the main themes and lessons for you this month will be, or what it is that you can focus on this month to get the best out of May, or what May has to offer you. Okay, so we have 3 options here. And so to get a more personalized message, you can select one of these 3 options or rocks. So starting off for rock 1, we have pepper. For 2, we have toffee. And for 3, we have popcorn. Yes, I have named them to assist with the whole selection process. Okay, so I will give you a moment to meditate on the options here and select the one that you feel drawn to the most. And if you don't want to select, you don't have to. You can just stick around to see what cards come out and what messages resonate with you. Okay, but I will start with pepper. So we have evolution with Virgo and wisdom, and the key phrase, a seed pod catches the wind, with the message, a seed pod uses the wind to travel further afield and increase its chances of finding fertile ground. Evolution can be practical. Minor changes can add up. What small useful habits can you put in place? Interesting, because this makes me think of catching a break. Right, so this month, a lot of you could be catching a break in your career, in your finances, in school perhaps. I do see you getting a really good opportunity, or maybe you have already. And so this month it's about getting the best or the most out of this opportunity. But with evolution, I feel like this month there will be opportunities to evolve. Maybe as a professional, maybe as an artist, as a craftsman, or to level up in your career, or in your studies, higher education. But, you know, with this message of what small useful habits can you put in place, it made me think of the Page of Coins, because the Page of Coins is very practical. And so this month, I feel like that's your aim, you know, to create habits or to create a routine that serves you and helps you, that is practical, that is functional, as well as sustainable. It's just something that makes sense, right? That makes life easier for you instead of overcomplicates things for you. But I have already a card for those who were drawn to Toffee. And it's fascination or anxiety with Virgo and emotion. So again, Virgo coming through. And the key phrase, a woodpecker bores through the tree bark. With the message, your capacity to drill into the details may be resulting in an exciting and energizing feeling of fascination. Or it may be causing you to overthink things and feel anxious. If the latter is the case, it might be helpful to broaden your perspective. Okay, so this could be a heads up for this month. Don't allow your fascination for detail prevent you from having a good time. The word drill made me think of drilling something into your brain. So a lot of you could definitely be studying or learning something new this month. And what you're being let know is that this learning process or this learning period doesn't have to be stressful. It could be rather fun and enjoyable. So instead of putting pressure on yourself to do really good and be the best and get everything right the first time around, or to memorize every single little detail, allow yourself some curiosity. And maybe this curiosity will help with you better absorbing all the information. But now I'm going to pull out a card for those who were drawn to popcorn. And drilling made me think of memorizing. If memorizing, like going over something again and again and again and trying to memorize it, doesn't really help you, then it could be that for you, what is best or what is better is to actually get hands-on approach. For example, when I was a university student and I was studying for an exam, what helped me to retain information better and to better understand it was if I presented it, kind of recited it to myself while I was walking around and moving my hands and so forth, because that allowed me to engage. And it made it a little bit more interesting for me, which helped with me retaining information a lot better. So maybe for some that could be the case, where like moving about or getting hands-on, having real practice perhaps, instead of just like learning the process or trying to memorize the steps might be helpful. But now I'm going to pull out a card for those who were drawn to popcorn. Ooh, so we have Ascendant with identity and the key phrase, a star rises in the east, with the message, you are developing a key factor of your identity or personality. This impacts other people, but it is also an affirmation of what is important to you. Allow for a new beginning. Remember, you are unique and find your self-assurance. Yeah, and I did mention something about a rising star, right? So this is more so confirmation, and I do feel like a lot of you are kind of establishing, and I did mention that at some point, right, about establishing your image or like your identity or what you're all about, or establishing a reputation, something along those lines. Or maybe you yourself are feeling a lot more confident this month about your approach, maybe your skills or how you go about things. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you are realizing that you're a star among stars and that you don't have to be like everybody else in order to shine bright, because your uniqueness or your unique qualities, traits, characteristics is what makes you shine and sets you apart from the rest. And standing out doesn't have to be a bad thing. But let's see, things I want to point out before I end your reading and the battery is about to run out. So stars, star-shaped things could be of significance, as well as woodpeckers or birds, maybe birds that have like a red tinge to them, like a red spot somewhere in their body. Seeds, seed pods could be of significance, as well as ships, sails or anchors, clovers, four-leaf clovers, Hooks, these numbers here, 5, 8, 7, or 0. Math, I don't know why, but mathematical formulas could be of significance. I do notice we have consecutive numbers in your spread, so 7, 8 with the strength card, and 9. So that to me indicates forward movement, progression, but these numbers in and of itself could be of significance, as well as the number 1, which speaks of new beginnings. Yeah, and then we have Sagittarius, Gemini with the Magician, Leo with the Strength card, and Earth signs with the Page of Coins, and specifically the Earth sign Virgo. And the color red in and of itself could be of significance or relevance. This month of May, you might be seeing this color quite often, or you could be quite drawn to it. Wearing red or something red may be providing you with spiritual and psychic protection, or bringing you good fortune and luck this month. If you've done a ritual, spell work, affirmations, a prayer, etc. to bring in financial opportunities or to manifest wealth, it's working, or it will be working. Yeah, but these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to your spirit guides and my spirit team for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful month of May. And until the next moment, bye-bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 2, Bupleurum, bienvenidos to your reading. So the message, we are thinking of you, and the expression reach for the sky, as well as an image of a stingray, came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group. And for a moment, I did find myself being up in my head, sort of drifting and or daydreaming. But then slowly, I felt myself easing into my body, grounding a bit, becoming more present. So intuitively, based on the messages that came through and what I experienced, I sense that this month some of you might be working with or will be assisted by ancestors or possibly loved ones who are currently on the other side. I do feel like loving beings and or entities will be guiding you throughout the month of May. And I feel like their goal is to help you either ease into your body, feel safe in your physical vessel, or in the present. There's something about being more present, feeling okay with being in the here and now. And some of you might even be in the month of May looking into how to soothe, heal, or regulate your nervous system. I feel like the goal this month is to easen up, loosen up, or to release stress, release tension, or to create a healthy routine, or what just came to mind is a healthy layout to encourage feelings of safety and security. Because I feel like the end goal is to help you or help yourself feel safe in your physical body, in your environment, or through your routines, possibly even your habits. By the way, the expression reach for the sky has come through a couple of times in my general readings, and I always associate this expression with the character Woody from the Pixar film Toy Story. So Toy Story or the character Woody or Pixar films could be of significance for some of you. I'm just mentioning it in case it is of relevance or importance. Okay, but now I am going to move on to the cards. So the first card I will be drawing out will give us the overarching energy of your spread, and the rest of the clarifying cards will give us an overview of the month. I hope the mic isn't picking up on all the background noise, because my neighbors, they are outside and there are kids playing about, screaming and yelling and laughing. So if you hear any of that, yeah, it's my neighbors. But we have the 10th house with Sun in Capricorn and the key term achievement. Beautiful energies. So if you are a Capricorn Sun, this here may be serving as a confirmation that there are messages meant for you to hear in this group or in this reading. If not, a Capricorn Sun person may be playing a significant role in your life this month. Yet, whether this is or isn't the case, I do sense that Sun in Capricorn showing up in your spread lets me know that this month you are going to be pretty goal or career oriented or quite focused. Sun in Capricorn plays no games. At least that's the vibe I'm picking up from this energy. And so this month you're coming through as quite... This is a weird way to put it, but you might have some kind of agenda, or there could be certain tasks that you know you need to get done this month, and so you're quite determined on getting stuff done or completing these tasks. And it's quite interesting how when meditating on the energy of this group, I found myself getting grounded, because this card here does make me think of someone who is focused on the here and now because they have to or because they feel there is a need to do so. Again, in order to get stuff done or to attend to responsibilities or get the ball rolling, make stuff happen. So I'm sensing a pretty steady energy coming from this group. Therefore, this month, it could be more about the day-to-day, like running errands and attending meetings or going to interviews, finishing assignments, completing projects, or possibly even creating plans. This month, you could be focusing on managing your finances or filling paperwork, applications, renewing contracts, updating information, and so forth. Yet I sense a lot of you are preparing for something. I do sense a little bit of mystery here. I have yet to pull out the clarifying card, so maybe I do need to do that to get a little bit more insight. But I do feel like you're working on something on the down low, or maybe this month you are choosing to be a bit more reserved. You're working on things silently or sharing with others your future projects or your plans, and this might be what is helping with you keeping focused or maintaining some kind of momentum. Yeah, because with this, I think it's a ram. I'm not quite sure what this creature is here, but it's meant to be a statue, I believe. It's making me think of someone who is doing their best not to get distracted, someone who is a bit stoic. So for some, you might be coming through as a bit stoic this month, but you know, that's how some people might interpret it, because in reality, I feel like what is happening is you're doing your best to keep focus. And this might be something new for some of you, because I did pick up on a daydreamy vibe at the beginning. And so if you are someone who tends to be a daydreamer, who gets lost in thoughts or tends to be up in your head more often than not, then you being this grounded per se, you being this focused might be something new. And what is coming through in specific is staying this focused for a prolonged period of time could be something new, but I feel like you're doing a pretty good job of it. Or if this is something that at times or in the past you found difficult to do, I feel like it's coming to you a bit easier this month. And with the word achievement, I do feel like whatever it is that you need to get done this month, you're getting it done. And there is this feeling, especially with the statue here, of being quite proud of yourself. Though I will say I'm getting a pretty neutral vibe, a bit nonchalant, or again, stoic. But let me pull out the clarifying cards. The number 10 often indicates completion endings. So with achievement, this month I do see you completing tasks. But this could also be like completing a project, filling an application, completing an interview, perhaps. And because achievement is also making me think of someone thinking to themselves or celebrating the fact more like that, yes, they got something out of the way. Like, yes, I turned that in, or yes, that's done and over with. So it could also be that this month, a lot of things that you were putting on hold, or maybe that you were procrastinating on, leaving maybe for the last minute, you're attending to them in the month of May and celebrating that fact, because now you don't have to worry about these things or think about them or postpone them for a later time. They're done and over with. But we have eclipse with huge transformation, death and rebirth, and underlying feelings or truths emerge. And let me pull out the last clarifier. And we have you'll get used to it with no worries and acceptance. The number 37 and the message, don't rush or force the process. If it feels uncomfortable, allow that feeling of comfort to stay hidden for a moment. This may just be something you need to get used to fully understand why it's occurring to begin with. So, with achievement and acceptance, this month you may be experiencing some form of achievement. For example, some of you may be getting accepted somewhere. So if you have been applying to jobs or institutions, programs, you will be receiving the news that you have been accepted, or maybe that you have been approved, or that you're moving to the next level, to the next stage. The message, no worries, feels like a reassurance for some of you that all is well, or that you're heading in the right direction. And that if there has been any mishap, or you have experienced what you feel to be a misstep or a setback, that although it might feel like it, this actually hasn't caused you to slow down in any way or made you lose momentum. Because in actuality, you're still very much on your way. So on your way to maybe achieving a goal, or on your way to perhaps the finish line or completing something. So in other words, even if you might have experienced these things, that doesn't mean that this is preventing you from succeeding, because you will be succeeding in one way or the other. Because with the energy of the eclipse, I do sense that you will be experiencing something major in the month of May. It feels a bit unexpected. It feels like a turn of events sort of thing. And again, I'm picking up on an air of mystery. And so I feel like it will vary and depend for each one of you, yet what is coming through mind in specific is maybe you were hoping to experience a major breakthrough in a certain area of your life, or through something that you have been working on or developing. Maybe you were expecting to do well in something or somewhere, yet where you do end up doing quite well, or how you end up experiencing a major breakthrough is through something that you weren't quite anticipating and or expecting. So an example that is coming to mind, and this doesn't have to be your specific situation, this is more so an example, which is person A is hoping to receive recognition for a recent research paper that they published. And instead, they end up receiving an award for a research paper that they published, I don't know, this is just an example, 10 years ago. Or this is also making me think of, the usual examples of someone is entering into a university thinking that they're going to major in a specific field, but then they end up majoring in something completely different. Or they think that they're going to be doing research on something, but they end up doing research on something else entirely. Right? And I know these are just like very general examples, but like I said, this energy here feels quite mysterious to me. I can't really pinpoint it, but I do feel like there will be something quite unexpected, like something you weren't really anticipating, or maybe it's like plans changed somewhere in the middle and now you're celebrating for something that you didn't anticipate or expect. Because I am getting something like, yes, you are experiencing achievement or success or a breakthrough, but for why or what, it will be different. than what was expected, something along those lines. And maybe this is an energy that is carrying over, because this does feel like something that's been in the works, right? I don't feel like this is necessarily something that's just happening within the month of May. I feel like this is something that's been in the works. This is a progression. And so this month was simply reaching a culmination or the completion or experiencing the peak of this journey per se. Because this bicycle is making me think of someone who is like on the bicycle cycling or treading up a hill. Like it's been a long journey, but now we're reaching the top of that hill, and this is what it looks like. So maybe you started a journey expecting for something, but now it looks completely different than how you had planned or how you had envisioned. But still, that doesn't take away from the fact that you have achieved something or that you are achieving something. It's quite interesting. And with huge transformation, this could also be indicating an inner transformation, an inner journey, right? So maybe this month you're realizing that you're not the same person that you were at the start of this year or in the previous year or at the start of some kind of journey that you took. Because with death and rebirth, it's making me think of an inner transformation. You've gone through endings, you've gone through deaths. Maybe like a death of an identity, a death of an old persona, a death of an old way of thinking, old way of doing things. And after these deaths, you experience some kind of rebirth. You were reborn into someone new, feeling quite different. And if you have experienced that in the past, then you know maybe how that feels like, and maybe you already know that when that happens, there is an adjustment period. Like you kind of get used to, this is a weird way to put it, but you know, like snakes, when they grow, they shed their old skin. And so this makes me think of someone who is kind of getting comfortable in their new skin. And so with you'll get used to it, this month you could be going through a bit of an adjustment period because you have, or you will be experiencing some kind of rebirth, a transformation, a metamorphosis per se. And acceptance is making me think of sort of coming to this acceptance of this is where I am and this is how things are going and this is how things have turned out so far. So, some of you could be taking a moment to assess or acknowledge where you are in your journey, what you have achieved, and what you have experienced so far. And again, this is making me think of becoming or being a lot more present, right? Because in order to do that, we need to be, in a sense, present in the here and now to really take a look around and see where we're at. And so that's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And I do notice we have another 10 in your spread, because if we add up 3 and 7, we get 10. So the number 10 could be of significance, or the month of October, or maybe you were born on the 10th of a month, or you could be a life path number 1. Yet again, the number 10 indicates endings and completion. I feel like you're ending a cycle, possibly. Eclipses do make me think of like major transformations, the endings of cycles. It makes me think of, I usually don't use this phrase or like really touch upon these themes, but this is what came to mind quite strongly, which is like the ending of karmic cycles or karmic lessons. You know what this is kind of making me think of? A Saturn return. So I wonder if some of you are experiencing a Saturn return. Because with Truths Emerge, I'm seeing you having a lot of realizations this month, being quite truthful and honest with yourself. I see you actually taking this time to sit down with yourself to, in a way, self-reflect or just evaluate is how it's coming through. Maybe feel through certain emotions, feelings that you have been either ignoring or dismissing or repressing. I am being reminded of a prayer, which is the Serenity Prayer. And remember, prayers can be used as a form of meditation, as well as affirmations. They don't necessarily have to be associated or related to religious beliefs or religious institution. That's just my point of view, I think. But if you're not familiar with the Serenity Prayer, it goes along the lines of, grant me the courage to change the things I can change, the serenity to accept those I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. I feel like that's kind of the introspection that is going on here, like really looking at things and seeing, okay, well, what is it that I need to come into acceptance of, and what is it that I can maybe address now and start working on either reinforcing it if I like it or changing it if I don't like it moving forward. So you could be quite introspective this month, and you could even have this air of, I'm thinking of the Hierophant, quite mysterious, but also mature, like the air of someone who is holding in a lot of wisdom, because you are seeing things this month from a higher perspective, from an objective perspective. You're seeing situations and matters pertaining to you and your life in a very level-headed way, and also with an outlook of wanting to learn, of wanting to evolve, wanting to understand is how it's coming through. Yeah, because this campus here, it looks like a campus to me. It's making me think of an institution, of a school. And schools are all about learning, right? And expanding on topics and subjects, theories. And so this month you're very much like a student. You're very much coming through as someone who is really wanting to evaluate and to comprehend. But now I'm going to look at what might be the challenging aspects of this month, and also get some advice and guidance on how to approach these challenges to obtain the best possible outcome, or to grow from these challenges. Ooh, and we have the King of Swords in the upright with intelligent, head over heart, and logical. Yeah, this again makes me think of someone who is like assessing and evaluating, introspecting. So with this being a challenging aspect, this month you could find yourself thinking quite a bit, being up in your head. And maybe that's why I experienced what I did at the beginning, because there could be times in which you might need to call yourself back, like bring yourself back to the present. Although the King of Swords makes me think of someone who is quite chatty, someone who is very communicative, I get, again, a bit of a stoic vibe from the King of Swords, and what is coming through in specific is someone who is taking their time to give an answer or to reply, not because they don't want to, but more because they're thinking about their answer. Like they're being very careful with their wording, or they're really thinking things through. So this month you could find yourself really thinking things through. Maybe because this is showing as a challenging aspect, you could at times find yourself overthinking certain things, which might result with you taking longer to make up your mind, to reply, to give an answer, or to get back to someone. Yet what is also coming through is this month you might find that things that you would normally quickly say yes to, or just go along with, or accept, you might be hesitating a bit. And it's not because you're doubting it, but more because you're, again, reevaluating. Because although this is the King of Swords, swords have more to do with the mind, I get something along the lines of you might be feeling quite differently about certain things that you normally simply say yes to. It's like your priorities might be shifting quite a bit this month, or you might actually be considering whether what you normally say yes to is good for you, or is a good idea, or if it serves you, or if it serves a purpose overall. I see you being quite discerning this month. And that could be the reason why you're maybe taking a while to get back to certain people or give an answer, because you're really considering things this month. Like, do I really want to say yes, or do I really want to continue with this? Is this really what I want? Because, you know, with eclipse, it sort of makes me feel like this month you yourself will be sensing that you're about to enter into a new cycle, maybe into a new chapter or era. You feel it intuitively, perhaps, or some part of you, your inner knowing is kind of hinting at that you're starting something new. And so you could be taking the time to consider your options, because a part of you knows that whatever you choose, whatever you say yes to, whatever you commit to, it will be the thing that you will be focusing on or committing to for this next chapter of your life, or this next cycle or era, right? So it's like, okay, I feel like this is the time in which I could change things if I wanted to. I could bring things to an end, or I could continue with certain patterns. This is the time in which I could possibly shift timelines or create a new narrative, right? Or rewrite my narrative. So I'm being mindful, because I get that vibe with the King of Swords of being mindful, like, okay, as an example, this doesn't have to be the case. I'm just giving this as an example because we have 2 number 10s here, but it's like, do I really want to commit to or continue doing this for the next 10 years of my life? Or is it time to say goodbye to this and try something different, do something different? Oh, wow. And we have the King of Cups. So these are 2 kings. Very powerful energy. So the King of Swords is an air sign. That will be Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. And the King of Cups is a water sign, and that will be Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. So you could have air and water placements in your main 3, or a lot of these elements, air and water, in your natal chart. But it could also be that this month you will be working with or dealing with people who have these placements, or this month will kind of embody and exude King of Swords and King of Cups energy or vibe. But with these 2, it's making me think of the heart and the mind, logic and intuition, reasoning and emotions. So yeah, like this expression, literally head over heart. So the challenging aspect of this month could be balancing these 2 things, right? Not ignoring your feelings, your intuitive feelings or gut feelings about certain things, not ignoring your emotions in order to make some kind of decision or to come to any form of conclusion, right? And it's also not ignoring the logic and practical aspects of things and being solely influenced by your emotions to make up your mind or to take some form of action. I think that the challenging aspect of this month is learning or knowing how to balance these 2, how to consider these 2 when making a decision or when coming to conclusions, making up your mind about something. And because these 2 cards fell out in the upright, I feel like a lot of you are doing a good job of balancing both of these, the mind and the heart per se. Because I feel like for a lot of you, this is what your journey has mostly been about so far. Like learning how to balance these 2, learning how to be receptive to the mind and also to the heart, considering both these aspects, right? Not ignoring your feelings or ignoring your logic. This also makes me think that maybe in the past there was a lot of like intellectualizing your emotions, and it's possible that if that were the case, you have been working through that, like learning more about it, what that means, what that entails, and seeing if it has served you, if it serves you, and possibly how to maybe do less of that so that you can actually allow yourself to feel through your emotions. And so this month could be about doing just that, allowing yourself to feel through your emotions instead of trying to intellectualize them all the time. For others, it could be that you have been learning how to regulate your emotions, maybe not disassociate when you feel overwhelmed or when you're starting to experience very intense emotions, allowing yourself to be present so that then you can feel through those in a safe and healthy way. Because I'm sensing so much maturity. I mean, you got 2 kings, and so I feel like you guys have come a long way, and maybe that's something that you're coming to realize, that you have come a long way, that you have learned so much throughout your journey. Because I feel like there's some kind of aha moment that you're experiencing this month. It's sort of, this is a weird way to put it, and remember, this is just me sharing with you what I sense, which is that for some, it's like this month you're allowing yourself to be who you have become. Because it almost feels like previously you were kind of, in a way, repressing or not fully assimilating or embodying who you were or who you had evolved into. It's like even though you had learned, let's say, new new programmings, even though you had new beliefs, you were still running the old programming, or you were still upholding the old beliefs. And it's like this month you're taking the time to sit down and say, wait, hold up, but I don't believe in that anymore, and I don't resonate or don't align with these old programmings. I've updated. I'm so sorry for associating or comparing this to like software and actual programmings, but that's like the example that my brain is coming up with, which is like I've updated to a new software, and this old software, it's slowing me down. You know, it's not serving me, it's just slowing me down. And so I can't no more with this old software. I have to work with this new software because this matches my current vibe, my current energy, my current frequency. So that's kind of what I'm sensing here. And maybe that's why you'll get used to it, because a lot of you could literally be like assimilating the new programming, the new beliefs, the new you. It's sort of how it's coming through, or you're adjusting to this new frequency. I'm sorry if that's very cliche and cringy, but that's kind of the way I'm sensing it. It's like you're adjusting to a new frequency. You're adjusting to maybe a new version of you. I feel like these two cards are simply asking for you to give yourself some props. And all of a sudden, I'm getting a little bit choked up. I don't know why, but I mean, maybe the challenging aspect of this month is like self-acceptance. I know this might not resonate with everybody, so please remember this is a general reading and I have to honor what is coming through because it might resonate with some people. I can't ignore that fact. So only take what resonates and leave what does not. But for some, this could be about like self-forgiveness. It's about realizing that we all have a past, and that although we all have a past, that doesn't mean that we can't grow from it, grow out of it, and evolve. And acknowledge that we have grown and that our past does not define us, right? It's part of our story, but it does not completely define who we are today. And so, again, this might not resonate with everybody, but I am sensing something here about giving yourself a second chance, another opportunity, allowing yourself to reinvent yourself if you feel that it's necessary, and realizing that it's okay. But it's also okay if you simply embrace all of who you are and embrace yourself with your past. Because although our past does not define our whole identity, our past did help us to become who we are right now. We did learn from our past, and it's okay to acknowledge that. We don't have to completely forget what transpired. So I feel like this month is about self-acceptance, and maybe for some self-forgiveness, and allowing yourself the opportunity to be who you are right now. I was going to say to become who you are, but you never stop being you. But I feel like it's more about embracing yourself as you are. Maybe not dimming your light or making yourself small to fit some old narrative. It's okay to crush that old narrative or to just burst out of it and allow yourself to create a new narrative. Again, be who you are right now. And these two cards are also making me think of like different careers. Literally here we have what appears to be a business person, an entrepreneur. And then we have a doctor. So it makes me think of the messages that came through at the beginning, right? Or the example I gave, which was like maybe someone enters into a university thinking that they're going to major in something, but then they end up majoring in something else. And so if that is your case, or you experience something along those lines, it doesn't have to be about like majors and careers. It could be something else entirely. Like you thought that you were going to be working somewhere on something, but now you're working on something else. This is your confirmation that this is part of your evolution. This is part of your growth. You didn't do something wrong. You didn't go astray. Because both of these kings are successful. This entrepreneur and this doctor, both of them are kings. They're not less than or more than the other. And so maybe this month it's about looking at things in a different perspective, where it allows for you to embrace your current role, embrace where you are right now, and embrace who you are. And recognize your achievements. Even if they look differently from what you expected, they're still achievements. There's something here about honoring your story, even like your hardships, your efforts. Because this King of Swords went through something, and this King of Cups went through something, and both of their journeys are equally as valuable, are equally worthy of being recognized. These two could also be indicating that if you're planning on like double majoring or taking on two roles, or if you're planning on or thinking about integrating your knowledge of something into a different area, arena, or field, that's a brilliant idea, because it is possible, right? So maybe one of the challenging aspects of this month, and it could be like a healthy challenge for you, is like learning how to integrate one field into another, how to incorporate two things, how to make use of your skills, of your knowledge, how to utilize it to make the most out of it. Because this is making me, I don't know why, but this is making me think of theory, and this is making me think of like actually getting hands-on with something. Yeah, so this month there could also be an opportunity to practice something that you've simply been learning about, or maybe try out a theory, try out an idea, execute it, or there will be an opportunity to do so. And the challenging aspect for some could be taking on this opportunity, allowing yourself to try something, allowing yourself to see if something is possible, giving something a go, giving yourself the opportunity to practice something that you have been learning. This makes me think of like an intern. Some of you could be becoming an intern or applying for an internship, or it could be your first day training for something, or your first day of your probation period. And so this month it's about giving yourself that confidence and reminding yourself that you prepared for this, and that you're adjusting. Again, there's something here about an adjustment period perhaps for some. And again, you'll get used to it. It's making me think of you being reassured that if you feel a little bit nervous at the beginning of trying something new or exploring something new, it's because it is the start of it all. Like, it's normal for you to feel a little bit nervous, but this nervousness will subside as time goes by, as you get more practice, as you get adjusted, because you'll definitely get used to doing this, being here, taking on this role. You'll get used to it to some extent, where it's not going to feel so new, where you're going to feel more familiar with it, more at ease with it perhaps. But now I'm going to look into what it is that you can look forward to this month. Also, some of you could be consulting with a few advisors, a few professionals this month. The King of Swords makes me think of like a business consultant, a lawyer, an accountant. The King of Cups makes me think of a doctor, a medical provider. It could also be like a counselor, a therapist, a physician, etc. I do see you receiving professional advice and or guidance this month. But for what it is that you can look forward to, we have the Page of Cups with Daydreamer, leading with Heart and Sensitive. Interesting how we have like Daydreamer here. The Page of Cups is associated with the zodiac sign Pisces, and Pisces is often known as the daydreamer, as the romantic, the creative. So yeah, maybe at some point during the month of May, you could find yourself getting lost in thought, daydreaming quite a bit, reminiscing about the past, being a little bit nostalgic. And if some people find you to be a little bit distant, it could be because of that. It's not that you're emotionally detached, but it's more so because you're getting lost in daydreams, or you're reminiscing, recalling memories. You could also be awakening to or acknowledging your sensitivities, or acknowledging your sensitive nature, embracing that. Or embracing your sentimentality. I feel like a lot of you are quite sentimental. If you don't feel that to be the case, I wonder if it's because at some point you learned that, or you were taught that it wasn't okay to express your emotions, or you didn't feel safe enough to do so. And so you repress or suppress a lot. And so this month it's like you could be opening up again, or feeling that it's safe. Remember, we kind of touched upon that in the beginning, like feeling that it's safe to feel your feels, maybe to express your feelings in a healthy way. Oh, and then we have the Six of Coins with charitable giving, shared wealth, and generosity. So with the Six of Coins, there's a lot of affection here. I feel like this month you're reaching out to loved ones, you're spending quality time with loved ones. Again, you're allowing yourself to feel your feels and express how you feel about others to others. Yeah, if that's something that was difficult to you in the past, I feel like this month, it's sort of like you're throwing caution to the wind. There's this feeling of like trying it out, not holding back. Or, with this Page of Cups is making me think of like testing waters. It's like you're allowing yourself to try, you know, how does it feel to tell someone I love them? Just as an example, like, is it okay? Is it safe to do so? And I feel with the Six of Coins, this often indicates like reciprocity. And so I feel like you're going to get a lot of encouragement and reassurance this month that it's okay to be expressive and it's okay to be gentle and to be sensitive and to be sentimental, because I feel like the response you will be getting will be a positive one, will be a reassuring one. Some of you could be reverting back to your childhood days, or more like you could be embodying more of your childlike essence or personality. So in other words, you could be allowing yourself to be childlike at some points. Have fun, be playful. And maybe this is what you're getting used to. Being this free with your emotions, with how you express yourself, or being this free flowing is what is coming through. But if you've always been this way, you've always been quite expressive, if you like to let your loved ones know that you care for them through acts of service or words of affirmation or through your own love language, I feel like this is something that you will continue doing this month and something that you will get a lot of joy and fulfillment from. And with the Six of Coins, remember, what you give is what you receive. So I feel like the love that you're sharing, you're emitting, you will be receiving it. So people will be very generous with you as well, or they will be showing you how much they care for you through their own love language. They could be purchasing you little gifts or treats, or coming home with treats or things that you like. All of a sudden, I thought of Mother's Day. So some of you could be celebrating Mother's Day, or if you are a mother, I do see you receiving gifts or like tokens of affection from children or people who see you as a mother, because I'm seeing maternal affection here. You could also be spending a lot of time with a mother, healing a relationship with a mother figure. Yeah, definitely. This Six of Coins, it looks like a son with their mother. You know, but only take that which resonates. But I also see something along the lines of healing the inner child, or the experiences you will have this month will help with you healing from the past, especially healing from childhood experiences, or healing your inner child. There's a lot of soothing going on this month. Again, these two cards are making me think of creating a safe space, working to help with you feeling safe within yourself, safe to be yourself, safe to express yourself, safe to be goofy and funny and loving. Yeah, but if you already feel safe to do that, then I feel like this is just being emphasized this month, like this loving, safe energy and environment. Maybe you're reaching a point in which all those who are around you are extremely loving and you feel safe with them, like you have healthy relationships, you are in a good place, and you've made amends with the past is also what is coming through, because we do have this person scrying. So maybe some of you this month, you'll be so okay with being in the present that you won't feel this need to look into the future or try to figure what the future holds, because you're more focused in the here and now, and maybe you're giving a little bit more attention to the past, to like break free from the past, or maybe even give thanks to your past self, like honor those versions of you. Give gratitude is what is coming through with these two cards. It's quite a beautiful energy. You could also be reconnecting with families, spending time with families, spending time with loved ones this month. I do see that with, you know, the Page and the Kings. I'm seeing something like reconnecting with brothers. But it doesn't have to be. It could just be family, people who you deem to be family. You could be feeling quite emotionally sensitive at some point in the month of May, and please don't repress that. Allow yourself to feel through that. You know, if you need some time, if you need to feel through it little by little, it's okay, but don't repress it. This is the time to allow yourself to free flow and to be. Know that it's okay to feel through your emotions. It's okay if you feel sensitive. It's nothing bad. But now I'm going to pull out some extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. And in this part of the reading, if you'd like, you could get a more personalized message by selecting one of these rocks. So for rock 1, we have pepper. I have named them to help with the whole selection process. But yeah, for rock 2, we have toffee. I'm going to put them here so you can see them better. And for rock 3, we have popcorn. Please take a moment to meditate on the options and select one. You can select more than one if you feel called to do so. And if you don't want to, then you can, if you like, just stick around to see what comes through. Then I also do want to point out that the messages on the card could also help with you getting a more detailed look as to what the main themes and or lessons of this month will be for you in specific, or what it is that you could focus on or address this month to get the best out of May. Okay, but I will start by drawing out a card for those of you who were drawn to popcorn. Ooh, and we have balance with Libra and wisdom, and the key phrase, a checkered pattern, with the message, nothing is black and white. Find balance between extremes. To find mental equilibrium, try writing down your thoughts, meditating, exercising, or talking to a friend. Assess your daily routines to decide if you need to introduce more balance. Checkered patterns could be of significance, or chess could be important. But now I'm going to pull out a card for those of you who were drawn to toffee. This balance is making me think of like the balance between the mind and the heart. Intellect and emotions, logic and intuition. We also have Pluto with control, and the key phrase, a marionette dances on its string, with the message, sometimes control can help you to master a subject. Often, it can be a misuse of power or overly self-protective. Ask yourself whether control is helping or hurting. Then connect with the part of you that is comfortable with letting go. Yeah, so there might be something this month that you might need to let go of, or to loosen your hold on it a little bit, release control of it, to let it unfold, to let it play out, to let it come to maybe a natural end, so that there can be progression or progress or forward movement. Also, this is making me think of excessive self-restraint, no longer feeling this need to control your every move by repressing or suppressing certain feelings or aspects of yourself, but instead allowing yourself to free flow, or allowing yourself a little bit more freedom, like exercising your freedom of expression per se. But some of you could also be coming out of a situation, maybe even a contract or something that like bound you or tied you down. It also makes me think of like a responsibility that was quite restrictive, or you felt was limiting you in some way, or limited the amount of time that you had for you or for things that you would like to focus on or to do. And you coming out of this will be quite freeing for you. Yeah, I feel like some of you could definitely be walking away from something, or something that was quite restrictive could be ending this month. And once this ends, you will feel like, now you're entering into a new era, or now it's the time to try new things or explore or find out what it is that you want to do. But now I'm going to pull out a card for those who are drawn to popcorn. Pluto is also a planet of transformation, I believe. And we have nurture with Cancer and wisdom, and the key phrase, spoon feeding a baby, with the message, deliver care and encouragement to yourself and others. Nurture is showing love through action. Take initiative to support other people, or focus on showing compassion to yourself. Either way, these nurturing actions will vitalize you. Yeah, with Page of Cups and Six of Coins, this is making me think of self-nurture, or allowing yourself to be nurturing or express more of your nurturing side. Whatever your sex may be, or whatever your gender identity is, I feel like you guys have a very nurturing, almost motherly side to you. And some of you might be aware of this, while others of you, this could be something that you have been in a way repressing, or maybe not expressing as much, or you had difficulty accepting of yourself. And I feel like this month you're being or becoming more comfortable with accepting this aspect or side of you, embracing it and expressing it, and in a way living it. This might sound out of the blue. Again, only take that which resonates. I share with you what comes through because I feel it's important to honor the messages that do come through. And so what came through is it's okay for you to be happy. It's okay for you to feel good. But with nurture, I feel like this month you will be healing inner child wounds. Not just addressing them, but there definitely will be healing this month. I sense so much love with this nurture card. Self-love, extending love to past versions of yourself, to your inner child or your child self. But you could also be nurturing a newborn. For those of you who chose popcorn, or spending time with the child and finding much healing in that. Because I see something like treating a child the way that you would have wanted to have received treatment when you were a child. And in doing that, experiencing a lot of healing. But things I want to point out before I end your reading. So the zodiac signs Libra, Capricorn, and Cancer, as well as air and water signs in general, could be of significance. A bike could be of significance or could be an important sign. I'm seeing in specific a red or blue bike. I don't know. Some of you could be buying a child a bike, and that in itself could be a significance because I'm seeing a storyline of maybe some of you when you were a kid you wanted a bicycle but your parents couldn't afford one, or you never had the chance to ride a bike or own a bike, and so now you're either purchasing yourself a bike or through you helping a child or a kid fulfill their dreams of owning a bike, it's going to be very healing for you. There's this feeling of like coming full circle or experiencing closure through that. But that was just an example, that may not be the case for every single one of you. But yeah, there could also be something about visiting a school or a school campus, going back to a school campus perhaps. And with balance, a lot of you could be taking better care of your health. There's something here about like a balanced diet, eating healthier, having a healthier relationship with food as well. Taking care of your basic needs is also what is coming through with nurture, making sure that you're doing that, making that a priority this month, and treating yourself kindly and with respect. Okay, but these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance, some clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you are new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. Ooh, and right now I just looked at the clock and it's 333. So that number could be of significance. But where was I? If you would like a personal reading, all the information for that is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. And to all of you who took the time to watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. And before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful month of May. And until the next moment, bye bye. Hello, if you were drawn to group 3, Lemon Verbena, bienvenidos to your reading. So the messages, watch out for the signs, as well as stand firm, stand tall, came to mind when meditating on the energy of this group. And I don't know how to best describe this, but when connecting with this group's energy, I had the sensation of something being in the back of my mind. So this made me think that in the month of May, you will be receiving a lot of downloads or messages from your spirit team, your spirit guides, your higher self, the divine, whoever it is that you connect with or even believe in, which is why you are also being notified or given a heads up to look out or watch out for the signs, because apart from you receiving intuitive downloads or messages, you will also be receiving messages or confirmations via signs and synchronicities in your day-to-day. Oh, and I didn't know this of lemon verbena. I just looked it up. I just typed it into the search engine, and apparently this herb is often used in rituals to help break bad habits, purify the body and the mind, as well as remove negative energy. And it can also be utilized to enhance vivid dreams, improve dream call, as well as seeking spiritual guidance through dreams. Quite interesting. So this month, be very attentive to your dreams, especially any dreams that you do recall, because it's very likely that this month you will be receiving spiritual guidance or messages via your dreams, or a lot might be revealed to you via your dreams. For example, what isn't working out for you, or what it is that you need to attend to, look more into, address, and so forth. I feel like your subconscious is going to be working through a lot during your REM sleep. So these are just some things to possibly consider or look out for in the month of May. Yet I also do sense that one of the themes of this month could be self-empowerment, building confidence, self-esteem, and feeling comfortable with being in your power, possibly standing up for yourself, creating boundaries, or expressing yourself. I feel like your guides or ancestors, possibly, it could even be loved ones who are physically incarnated, they are really wanting for you to feel proud of yourself or be proud of yourself, because they're proud of you and they see how amazing you are, and they just wish for you to see and acknowledge what they see and acknowledge in you. And if you already know that you are amazing, then this month is simply about owning that, or continue to own this little known fact. Okay, but let us now move on to the cards. So the first card I will be drawing out will give us the overarching energy of your spread, and then the clarifiers will give us an overview of the month, okay? Lemons, or the scent of lemons, could be of significance, or it could be citrusy scents. What is coming through in specific is the scent of orange blossoms. I personally love that scent, or that smell. I love orange trees, they're very beautiful. Okay, but let's see. Ooh. Okay, so your card is, wow, the 12th house with Mercury in Pisces and the key term inspiration. I said wow because the 12th house Pisces is all about the subconscious or the unconscious mind. It's about dreams. Pisceans or Pisces is very famous for being quite dreamy and imaginative. So yeah, I feel like dreams, or the dream state, the dream space, is going to be pretty important or significant this month. You may be having a lot of vivid dreams. Some of you may be having prophetic dreams, or as mentioned previously, you could simply be processing or working through a lot via your dreams. And some of the things you could be processing could be feelings. It could also be like fears, or maybe even traumas, or experiences that maybe are a little bit difficult to talk about or think about when you're consciously awake. It could also just be abstract themes or concepts, things that might be a little bit difficult to really think through and get a grasp on, or analyze or dissect when you are consciously awake. But with inspiration B here, I also see that inspiration could strike in the middle of the night, and for some of you it could strike while you are asleep. So you could be experiencing something like in the middle of the night you wake up because you just had a dream that came with some kind of idea, or maybe aha moment, like an answer to a problem that you've been dealing with, something along those lines. So if you do feel called to, and if you have the energy to, in that moment, write down whatever it is that came to you in your dream, it is recommended for you to do so, because whatever you end up writing down could be useful or could be quite revealing, quite helpful to you in some way. Yeah, there's something here about a dream could inspire a new project, or could inspire for you to get pretty creative with something that you are currently working on or doing or will be working on this month, because we do have the planet of Mercury, and Mercury is all about thought, the mind, as well as communication. So something else I am seeing is that this month you are going to get pretty creative, or feel quite inspired to create or to experiment a bit, try new ideas, maybe ideas that you've had in the past but haven't tried out. And I feel like you're going to bring these up in the month of May and get working on them, or get started on them, or expand on them a little bit more. But I do see you getting pretty innovative this month. And with Mercury, I also see you getting or being quite comfortable with expressing yourself. So it could be through some art form, creative form, or a medium. With Mercury in Pisces, some of you could be utilizing writing as a creative outlet, maybe to process certain things or get in touch with certain aspects of yourself. But some of you could be creative writers or poets, lyricists, but I do sense that a lot of you could get into creative writing or maybe journaling. Writing down your thoughts, writing down your dreams in the month of May. If not writing, you could be getting into some kind of creative art or form, because something else I'm seeing is dancing. It could be anything. And this doesn't have to be something that you're doing professionally, because this could be a pastime, a hobby for some. For others of you, it could just be a way of you feeling through certain things or allowing for energy to flow, because I'm seeing someone deciding to get up and dance or move as a means to cleanse their energy field or just allow for flow, whatever that might mean. And I have been interrupted twice already. So with Mercury, it's making me think of Mercury retrograde. I don't think Mercury will be in retrograde at any point in the month of May. I don't think so. But with all these interruptions, you could be experiencing a few interruptions here and there throughout the month of May. Or at some point in the month of May, you could be experiencing what normally happens during a Mercury retrograde, like issues with connectivity or malfunctions with technology, something along those lines. And if this is the case, I feel this will be when you are channeling or when you are connecting with spirit, for example, or with your higher self or with the collective energy. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you who were drawn to this group could often channel messages, or you could be quite attuned to energy, could be quite receptive to spirit, because I do feel that you will be channeling quite a bit this month. And some of you could be tapping into new psychic abilities, or you could be exploring a new form of channeling messages, because if you do work with divination tools, I feel like this month you might feel inspired to work with new divination tools, maybe create your own divination tools, or again experiment and explore with the way that you channel messages or connect with spirit or connect with your inner wisdom. Or if you don't normally use divination tools or channel messages, this month you could feel this curiosity to experiment with that, explore that, or you could be practicing how to connect with your own intuition without using divination tools perhaps. But let me pull out the rest of the cards. So the card that fell out for you guys is Midheaven, with publicity, often associated with career and life purpose, our public persona, and achievement. So we have the 10th house here with Midheaven. Quite interesting. So some of you could be in the public eye, or you could utilize social media platforms as a tool for work or for publicity, for marketing. Some of you could definitely be artists, creatives, creators, content creators, and you could post your work online, because with inspiration, I do see you being the center of attention at some point in the month of May. I do see there being eyes on you and you possibly inspiring quite a few people, you being the inspiration, you being the muse. And some of you could have a podcast, or you could share insight, wisdom, your knowledge online, maybe in some kind of public forum, online forum. Some of you could be public speakers, or you could be performers, entertainers. Some of you could be actual channelers. Maybe you are tarot readers, or you share messages for the collective online. Because I do see you garnering quite a bit of attention, or the feeling I'm getting here is you're building, growing, and or establishing your own community. There's something here about you creating some kind of public image throughout this month. I was thinking when I mentioned Mercury retrograde that communication will be quite important this month, and I'm getting a bit of mixed energy here. I feel like this month you will find it easy to communicate your thoughts or to express yourself Yet, what is also coming through is you could have a very unique way of speaking or communicating or expressing yourself, and that is really going to stand out in a positive way, because this illustration is making me think of a unique style or something being quite stylized. So if you feel or you have been made to feel like your style, your way of doing things, or your way of communicating, expressing yourself, delivering messages perhaps, is quite different than what is considered the norm or what is considered popular or what is, let's say, trending per se, and you embrace this and really went with it, I feel like it's reaping you much rewards this May, because you made this kind of like your signature style. You made this the thing that helps identify you from the rest. You made this your brand maybe, or your image, and I'm having trouble expressing this, but how it's coming through is it seems very purposeful. It seems deliberate, because I know this might not be the case, but the expression that comes to mind is marketing technique. Like, some of you might just be doing you, and yet you doing your own thing seems almost like a marketing technique because it's drawing attention and it seems so purposeful or so deliberate, yet without it coming through as forceful. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but I think what I want to say is that you're owning it. And even if you feel like you aren't, that is how it's coming through to others. You're owning it. You're being and feeling confident in who you are and how you move and how you do things. And that is what is quite endearing to others or refreshing to others or quite intriguing and to some even inspiring. Yet if at some point you questioned whether you should change or whether you should try to be more like others or follow the trends, kind of in a way fit in so that you won't stand out so much or be so different, then I feel like this month you're being shown that it's okay to be you, that you don't have to fit a mold in order to be seen or to do well or to be inspiring. I don't know much about astrology, but I think midheaven is the house that is at the highest point or that is quite visible. And so again, it makes me think that you're standing out, and you're standing out because of your very distinctive or unique traits or personalized ways of doing things, your style, in other words. And maybe that is what is boosting your confidence, or maybe this is why I felt like the theme of this month is being confident in yourself, because it's sort of like the cards or spirit wants to give you a little nudge to feel a little bit more sure of yourself and how you go about things and how you do things, because there's a lot of potential here. That is how it's coming through. And what you do or how you move or just who you are will be quite inspiring to a lot of people. It might inspire them to also be themselves or try new things instead of desperately try to fit into some kind of mold, which there's nothing wrong with that either, because I don't want to push this idea that you have to be different in order to seem genuine or authentic, because if you feel inclined to follow trends because that's what you like, then that's perfectly fine. And although we are all unique, we may also have similarities with others, and that's perfectly fine as well. That doesn't take away from your uniqueness. So it's not about forcing yourself to be different, but it's more so about not feeling forced or pressured to jump into some kind of bandwagon, but instead allowing yourself to dance to the beat of your own drum. And this, this courageous act of dancing to the beat of your own drum being celebrated instead of it being admonished or looked down upon. Because I feel like that's what is happening this month. Like, you doing your own thing is being celebrated. I feel like I just went on a little rant there. I apologize. Okay. Ooh, and we have number 64 with drama, conflict, and decisions. And the message, drama is only a heightened state of believing. What you believe to be dramatic and tragic may all just be an illusion and a built-up storyline in your mind. Don't feed into it. We are the directors of our own movies. We have the power to make our own decisions. So quite a few things came to mind when I saw this card. First and foremost, this month you could be experiencing a bit of main character syndrome. You could be feeling or treating yourself like the main character of your story, of your movie, perhaps. And for some, if this is resonating with you, this could be your way of owning your confidence or getting comfortable with being confident or feeling self-assured. I don't really like this expression, but it came to mind, so I have to honor it, which is fake it till you'll make it. Maybe some of you resonate with that expression, and maybe that's what you are applying this month or exercising. But with drama, it's making me think of embodying. This month, you're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the walk, in other words. Right? So you're treating yourself how you want to be treated. You're showing up in the world how you wish to show up. This month, I see you building yourself up. I see you pumping yourself up. The illustration in the drama is making me think of a set, and it's like this month, every day you're choosing to get on stage and stand proudly in the spotlight. So I wonder if some of you are actual entertainers and performers, and if so, you could be performing or giving quite a few shows or performances throughout this month. Some of you could be auditioning for a role. And if so, I do see things faring pretty well for you. I do see you getting a part. And for those of you who are writers, like screenwriters, I do see you getting an opportunity to like improve or practice or to get a taste of what it's like, maybe what it's like to work with other screenwriters, or what it's like to work with actors or actresses, what it's like to direct, for example. But there's something here about getting an opportunity to try something out, to get a taste of something that maybe you've only been envisioning, imagining, or practicing for, maybe learning or studying about. Because again, I don't know why I'm having trouble like interpreting, conveying the messages. It's like I'm feeling everything, I'm seeing everything in my mind's eye, but I'm having difficulty putting it into words. And that's how some of you might be feeling. And that's why I mentioned Mercury retrograde at some point again, because what I wanted to say is there could be points in which you feel like it's really easy to convey your thoughts or your feelings, maybe write them down on paper or interpret them through some creative art or form or medium. Yet there could also be other moments in which you might find it, I wouldn't say difficult, but you could take a little longer finding the right words or finding the right way to convey something. And you might even experience a bit of like hiccups, like you're about to say something, but then you lose your train of thought, or you end up spacing out, or you get stuck on a thought or on a word. And if this ever does happen, I feel like it could be because either you're channeling in the moment, and so those pauses, those breaks could be intentional so that you can process what is being channeled, or it could be as a way of you to find a better wording for what it is that you want to convey or channel. But also what is coming through is this could be like your subconscious way of redirecting you or letting you know like, hey, I know we were thinking of doing things this way, but there is a better way. And so what might seem like a malfunction to you, it might not even seem like a malfunction, that's just the word that came to mind. It's actually a recalibration of sorts. It's kind of like a redirection. And I could use myself as an example. Sometimes when I'm channeling messages or interpreting the cards, there are moments in which I am interrupted over and over again, or I lose my train of thought, or words get stuck in my mouth. There's even been times in which I have accidentally bit my tongue, and I know that that's an indicator that I need to rephrase, because I either wasn't as clear, or maybe I need to use better wording, or I'm diverting from the core message, something along those lines. So that could be the case. And so if this is resonating with you, I would advise for this month at least to take these moments as an opportunity rather than as an inconvenience. Because I feel like this month is about kind of exploring and, like I said, experimenting and really finding maybe your unique style and finding the methods, forms, and ways that best suit you. Yeah, because with decisions, it's making me think of like creative decisions. So there could be a lot of that this month where maybe you're deciding on or looking into what is the best approach, what is the best method. Now I'm thinking of like different methods of acting or getting into a character. Yeah, I wonder if you guys, a lot of you who chose this group are creators, creatives, artists, or you're quite creative, because that's kind of like the overall vibe I'm getting here. I'm getting like drama or theater students. Some of you could be, or maybe you were at some point, or if this was something that you were quite into in the past, you could be picking up this interest again in the month of May. But again, with the drama here, I feel like this is once again confirming that at some point this month, you will be in the spotlight in some way, or you will be grabbing people's attention, or maybe something that you do, something that you share, something that you post, something that you create will be getting quite a bit of attention. And there is a heads up here with Pisces and Mercury to not get carried away by thoughts, because now what I'm thinking about are intrusive thoughts. And with midheaven, there is a caution here about being mindful of what you give attention to, because what you give attention to, you give power to, right? So just remember, thoughts are thoughts. You don't have to identify with every thought that passes through your mind, even if it incites some kind of feeling, because our body can respond to a thought, an image that might pop in our mind. Yet that doesn't mean that it's important, or that we should give it our undivided attention and make it a priority, especially if, focusing on this isn't serving you. And remember that what you give attention to, you give power to. So reclaim your power by actively choosing what you give attention to, right? Because you can redirect your attention when you feel like your mind is wandering or it's fixating on something. When that happens, if you can, try to redirect your attention onto something that is more pleasant and more productive. Something else that is coming to mind, and I feel like I have to be careful here, is you could be enacting or playing out a fantasy of yours. Or there's something here about something becoming reality, like a dream, a fantasy, a wishful thinking. It's becoming reality, or it's being made possible. That is how it's coming through. And I feel the need to clarify that this will be something healthy. This will be something harmless. And this will be something that will have your inner child or your inner teen or your past self, younger self maybe, giggling or preening. And an example that is coming to mind, and this is just an example, is person A when they were little or when they were a teen, a young adult. They always wanted to wear a beautiful blue silky dress. I'm thinking of Hermione Granger's periwinkle blue dress. At least that is how it's described in the books. So let's say person A always wanted to wear a dress similar to that of Hermione Granger's, either in the films or as described in the books. But so far it hasn't happened. Yet at some point in the month of May, it ends up happening. They find the dress, or someone makes the dress, or maybe because we are speaking about someone very artsy and crafty, quite creative, they themselves make this dress and get to wear it. And it's like a dream come true. It's like a fantasy come true. Because I do get this feeling of you making your own dreams a reality, you fulfilling a wish of yours in some way. It could be that you will be assisted by the universe in some way, but I feel like ultimately it will be you who will make this happen or will help to make this happen. Again, like I said, I'm getting a bit of like being the main character, treating yourself as the main character. There's even this feeling with drama here of living in the movie. So at some point in the month of May, or maybe throughout the entire month, you could feel like you're in a movie, or like you're in this dreamlike state, like your life is unfolding or playing out like a film, or you could just be approaching your day-to-day in that way. Like, I don't know, if some of you are into cinematography, if you're movie buffs, or if you really appreciate the little things, details, if you're into like the sensory, because I see someone like appreciating the lighting, the lighting in a room, or how the light shines through a window, or really listening to the sounds someone makes when they're preparing coffee and relishing in that, appreciating the softness or the texture of fabrics, the vibrancy of colors. So if you're someone who's into that, I feel like you're really going to pay attention to that, and these details are really going to be the highlight of your days, or It's going to help embellish your day-to-day. But for others of you, if you're not normally into this sort of things, or you don't pay close attention to these details, this month you could very well be paying more attention to these sort of things and it making a huge difference, maybe completely changing how you experience your day-to-day. Now I'm thinking of like Studio Ghibli or Ghibli films, how these are the things that make these films so precious and so memorable, like how it highlights the beauty in the mundane. And so that's kind of the feeling I'm getting here, like really appreciating the little things, and this being the things that kind of give an oomph to your day-to-day. Or maybe these are some of the things that you're highlighting in your creations for those of you who are creatives or creators. And these could be the things that are really making your creations or your content really stand out to others, or leave a really good impression in others, make it memorable. Because there's something here about like making something memorable, or something being memorable, being worth remembering. I really like this energy, but I feel like it's coming through a bit over the top, or it might be, because it's so dreamy. It even feels a bit otherworldly, but it's so, I wanted to say scrumptious. I never use that word. But it's so invigorating. It's so pleasant. Like this energy is so pleasant to be in. And it's so uplifting as well. So I feel like this month, some of you could be uplifting others, or you yourself could feel quite positive. Or when you are starting to feel down, what I just talked about could be the ways in which you uplift yourself. But now I'm going to move on to El Tarot to find out what will be the challenging aspects of this month. Interesting. So we have the Nine of Coins in the upright with indulgence, thriving, and self-reliant. So the Nine of Coins speaks of someone who is thriving and who is self-empowered and is doing well financially. The Nine of Coins often makes me think of someone who is self-employed, owns their own business, has a thriving business, or is a freelancer, or someone who is quite successful or quite stable in their job, career, or profession. They're doing quite well, in other words, when it comes to these areas of life. Ooh, interesting. And we have the Knight of Swords, and it did fall out in the horizontal position, so that is how I'm going to interpret it. But in the upright, we have assertive, opinionated, impulsive, and in the reversal, we have unfocused, follower. Interesting. And mischance. Interesting how the word follower is here, because I did mention that some of you could be in the public eye, be a content creator, you could be an influencer, so you could have a following. And, you know, with the Knight of Swords showing up in the horizontal position, I feel like this month you will experience a bit of fluctuation is how it's coming through. For one thing, you will be securing a following. You could be finding your target audience, for example. The Knight of Swords in the horizontal makes me think of someone who is here for the long run. So I do see you having people on your side, or people who, if this applies to you, have been following you for quite a while, or who will end up following you for quite a while. But I do see you having supporters. Yet I do see a bit of fluctuation in which you could be seeing like a coming and going. So for example, if you have followers or subscribers, you will have new followers or subscribers, but at the same time, there could be people that are leaving. And this is happening because you are creating your following. Again, I'm thinking of you finding your target audience. I feel like there's the word stable is coming to mind, or stabilizing. So for those of you who offer a service, this could be something like you're finding your clientele, or you're building a clientele. And so when that is happening, you know, there's this coming and going. There's people that are introduced and then people who move on, because this is about finding your crowd. This is about finding your people, right? Establishing, creating your community. And I see that happening with the Knight of Swords falling out in the horizontal, because this makes me think of like a grounded energy. Whenever a card falls out in the horizontal, I often interpret it as this being the foundation of the overall energy. And the Knight of Swords, as mentioned in the card, represents someone who is quite assertive. And so with this falling out in the horizontal, I do see that this month you will be establishing your boundaries. So You know, the Knight of Swords, when out of balance, could be a bit aggressive in your face. Yet this having fallen out in the horizontal, it makes me think of someone who draws attention without demanding it. They set their boundaries without enforcing them or without overstepping other people's boundaries. This is speaking about confidence, not arrogance, right? Because the Knight of Swords, again, when it's out of balance, can come through as quite arrogant. But this being in the horizontal, I feel like it's indicating a nice balance, like a neutral energy. So maybe the challenging aspect of this month is more so a lesson. It could be about learning the difference between confidence and arrogance. You know, what tips the scale? Also, there could be some lessons around what does it mean to be authentic? What does it mean to be genuine? The Nine of Coins is making me think of someone who's also kind of finding that balance between doing what feels genuine to them versus appealing to the masses, right? Because the Nine of Coins is an entrepreneur. And so for some, if you're working with the public, right, there could be moments in which you could feel pressured to follow trends or do as others are doing, or kind of base your work or your content on what is doing well and what is quite popular to maybe maintain your business or to keep, let's say, your social media, your account, your channel afloat. And so there's something here about like finding that balance of, okay, how do I stay true to me and how do I continue creating what I want to create while still maintaining that momentum or still, and this is the wording some of you might use, is stay relevant, or for my content to stay relevant, to continue garnering attention. Or maybe this month is not falling into that kind of pressure, right? Because with the Nine of Coins being in the upright, this is letting me know that you're faring well or you will be doing well. And so far we have been talking about you doing your thing and you being in a way praised for it, or you doing quite well because of it. And so with the Nine of Coins showing up in the upright, I feel like this month you could be receiving confirmation or reassurance that it's okay to go about your ways, like dance or march to the beat of your own drum, because there are people who find what you do to be quite inspiring, or they love it, or this works, right? You doing your own thing, it works. Because there's something here about marketing. I feel like some of you could be looking into marketing, or maybe you do work in marketing, so you could be rebranding or revamping or looking into how things like the image of your business, if you do have a business, or your personal image, how you market yourself, how you promote yourself or your business, influences who is attracted or drawn to you, your work, your social media page, your channel, or your business, or how it impacts the amount of views, sales, or clients you get, for example. And this could be something new for some of you. Maybe some of you haven't really ventured into this. And so because it is new to you, you could see it or approach it as a challenge. What else I'm seeing with the Knight of Swords is this month, don't let petty drama get in your way of you gloating or feeling good about your achievements and your work, because the Knight of Swords is making me think of a bit of a petty energy, especially with drama being here. So there could be some people, especially if you are in the public eye, it tends to happen. There's people online who like to start drama, engage in troll behavior. And so if that happens to be the case, with this Knight of Swords falling out in the horizontal, you're being advised to set very strong boundaries and not engage with this petty drama, because it's either not worth your time, or engaging with it will only affect your mood and appease this energy. Because with drama being here, all this kind of behavior might want is attention. And so by you giving it, remember what was mentioned previously, you're giving this power. And so the advice here is don't give it attention, simply set your boundaries. And this card falling out in the horizontal, it's even making me think of blocking. If there are people who are continuously trying to cause some kind of drama or being quite petty or even being aggressive or mean for no reason at all, then you don't have to deal with this. Remember, on social media and on many online platforms, we have the choice of blocking certain people or certain energies. So use that if you feel called to do so. And if you feel like it will be the best for your community and for your mental mental health and mental well-being as well. Because again, I'm seeing this as petty behavior. This is not about blocking people who are offering constructive criticism or feedback, because that's something else I'm going to get into right now. This is more so about people who are just being rude and mean, and I will even say a bit hateful in the comment section, or, you know, in reviews or anything of that sort. And the other thing that is coming through here is the challenging aspect of this month could be taking in constructive criticism, right? Because again, it's making me think of how oftentimes confidence and arrogance are confused, and how oftentimes we can confuse constructive criticism for, or see it as someone trying to bring us down, or someone trying to target us in some malicious way. So I feel like this month is about learning how to differentiate the two, and most importantly, it's about learning how to take constructive criticism and feedback to serve you, to help you grow and to improve, and to also see things from a different perspective. And I know it's difficult at times, but also it's about learning to not take constructive criticism personally. Instead, learning to look at it objectively so that then you can make or get the best out of it. I feel like those will be the major lessons of this month, and things that might be at some point a bit challenging. Because I know about getting comments and getting feedback, and I know how sometimes, you know, it can hurt and it can wound the ego and the pride a bit. But in retrospect, some of the feedback I have received has been quite helpful. It has been quite constructive to look into and look at and really consider. So yeah, that's something that might be occurring this month. So you will definitely be receiving some kind of feedback. Some of you might even be receiving an evaluation. And again, the very same thing. I feel like you're being advised to not take this personally. I know that's hard, and I know that's terrible advice, I feel. But look at this objectively, because I feel like you can take a lot from it, and it can serve you in the now and also in the long run, right? And also there's something here about, like, people have opinions, right? And sometimes people are just sharing their opinions. Their commentary or opinions don't need a reply, or don't need feedback, because they're either just there to be read, to be seen, to be heard, and maybe not taken so seriously. Yeah, but if you feel strongly about something, then, you know, it's up to you whether you want to engage and reply and respond, and maybe even start some kind of discourse. But let me now look into what it is that you can look forward to this month. So we have the Knight of Cups in the upright with chivalry, hopeless, romantic, and idealistic. The Knight of Cups is a water sign. That will be Pisces, Cancer, and Scorpio. And then Knight of Swords is an air sign, so that will be Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. And we have the Star in the upright with faith, renewal, and healing. Wow. So the star makes me think of a star, makes me think of a celebrity or someone who's in the public eye, someone who's admired and looked up to, or who is seen by many. So yeah, you're coming through as quite the star this month. You could be getting quite a bit of attention, or you could be feeling like the star, again, like the main character. With the Knight of Cups, again, it's a very dreamy, kind of romantic vibe. So in your day-to-day, while you're out and about, you could also be garnering quite a bit of attention. Some of you could even be garnering one or more admirers this month. There is a possibility of someone coming up to you and flirting with you, or asking for your social media accounts, your contact info, or they could be complimenting you in some way. This doesn't have to lead to anything. It could just be someone coming up to you and trying to flirt with you, or coming up to you and complimenting you. But for those of you who are interested, I do see someone in a way shooting the shot with you. Is that an expression? It sounded terrible, but I do see someone being quite interested in you or taken by you this month, because the star is associated with the energy of Aquarius. Some of you could be online dating this month, or using dating app to meet people, but this doesn't have to be the case for everybody. But I see this being a possibility, and I do see you talking back and forth with someone this month. If you are on a dating app or you're thinking about being on one in the month of May. For others of you, and the following might not be for everybody, because I do see some of you moving on from an ex or someone of the past. I do see you healing from a possible breakup, or healing wounds, or healing from patterns associated with relationships. This month you are integrating some kind of lesson pertaining to relationships, or how you connect with others, or possibly even around love or romantic love. This might sound out of the blue, yet what came to mind just now were the messages: no more trauma bonding, and say no to love bombing, and zero idealizing. So these could be some of the themes of the lessons you have come to learn, yet whether they are or not, I do feel like a lot of you are changing your views on romantic love, or what it means to bond with another or be in love. I just heard in my mind the question, why do you want to be in a relationship? So you could be asked this question by another, or you might be asking yourself this question at some point in the month of May, and your answer might end up shocking you or reveal something very important to you. Because the star does make me think of self-healing, self-improvement. So this month you will be focusing more on you and your healing journey. This month I see you taking quite a bit of inspired action. And I did at one point speak about you fulfilling your own wishes. And then the star can speak about wish fulfillments. So with the Knight of Cups, you are coming through as a knight in shining armor and making your dreams a reality. Some of you could be taking yourself out on dates. You know what this is making me think of? And I mentioned this once in another reading. You're treating yourself like you would want a lover or significant other to treat you. It's almost like if you could have you in your arm, you would, and you would be quite proud of that. Like, look at my partner, look at me. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting. But this month you could also be romanced by someone, or someone could be attempting to romance you. That's kind of the vibe I'm getting here. And with the star, all I can say is trust your intuition, trust your gut feelings, because your intuition will be pretty strong this month. And so, yeah, you will know right away whether someone is, let's say, trustworthy, or someone means business, is serious about getting to know you or dating you, or it's serious about commitment. If that's something that you're looking for, you will know right away. So there's just a heads up here to trust in yourself. Don't second guess whatever first impression you get, or whatever first intuitive or gut feeling you receive about someone, because the star here is reminding you that you are a star, right? So there's no need to settle or lower your standards, is how it's coming through. Because if you, the star, exists, then your ideal partner, let's say, your special someone exists as well. That's for sure. And there could be someone who has their eye on you, or who you've caught their eye, but this could be someone who is from afar, or someone who maybe you haven't connected with in the physical 3D, because the star does make me think of someone who is like far away, or who maybe is not in contact with you. So this could be someone who maybe, you know, has seen you on social media, but they have yet to talk to you or connect with you. This could also be someone who maybe has seen your work and they're admiring it from afar. And with the star being here, this person could be well known as well, or could be in the public eye as well, or they could be an inspirational figure, an influencer, someone who helps make dreams reality or fulfills wishes. That is how it's coming through. They could be well praised or well liked, quite popular, and quite the romantic as well. Aspirational is the word that is coming through. They could be quite aspirational, because I feel like this could be you with someone, and then this is that other person I'm talking about. Like, they're watching you from afar. And you know, this could be a potential romantic partner, but this could also be someone who is quite inspired by you, maybe wants to get to know you, but they're quite shy, or they don't know how to reach out to you or connect to you. Or this could be someone who sees you as a star, and so they see you as quite unreachable, or maybe there is no way for them to reach out to you. Or this could be someone who wants to work with you. So it will vary and depend, but I do see there being someone who is kind of admiring you from afar. And I don't see this person coming into the picture this month. I just feel like their energy could be quite prevalent, and it's like they're announcing themselves. So maybe they will make a entry or a debut sometime in the near future, but possibly not in the month of May. But they're coming through just to let you know that they're out there or that they know of you, or this could just be coming through as a way to say that there are people who admire you and who look up to you. But I feel like this is someone who could match you, or this is someone who matches you, or who is quite compatible with you. For some, this person could even, this might be a little too much, but they could be like a dream come true for you. Yeah. Ooh, and something that came to mind, this month you could have the opportunity to meet someone who you look up to. Maybe your favorite artist, someone who is your muse, an idol of yours. You know, there could be an opportunity to see them perform live, for example, or get to meet them in person. Maybe there will be some kind of fan meet or someone. Ooh, now I'm thinking of that someone could be introducing you to someone that you look up to. And you know, this person here with the satchel looks a little bit nervous, and it's like this person with the tattoo is kind of like encouraging them, like, come on, it's okay, everything's going to be okay. And then we have the person in the star card who is looking towards these two people, kind of like anticipating for them to come close and spark a conversation with them. And so yeah, there could be a third party, a friend, an acquaintance, someone who will help you connect with an idol of yours, or someone that you look up to, someone that you admire, have been admiring for a while, someone that you respect possibly. Eee, how exciting. And I felt a little nervous right now. I feel myself flushing. So yeah, this could be, you know, a bit nerve-wracking, but also quite exciting. Like it could be a little bit of both. So this definitely will be something to look forward to for some of you. So you could also be invited to an event this month, or someone could be hooking you up with tickets to an event. But yeah, these are all the messages that I'm seeing so far. And just remember, just as a reassurance for some of you, you shine as bright, right? If you look up to someone, just know that you shine as bright as this person. You are a star, a gem as well. Okay, but now I'm going to pull out extra oracle cards to get any last messages, advice, and or guidance. And so for this part, if you would like, you can select one of these rocks or more than one to receive a more personalized message, and even get a more detailed look as to what the main themes and lessons will be specifically for you. So for option 1, we have pepper. For option 2, we have toffee. And lastly, for option 3 is popcorn. So take a moment to meditate on the options. If you don't feel called to select, that's okay. If you'd like, you could just stick around to see what comes through. But I will start with pepper. Oh, that was fast. And we have peace or melancholy with Pisces and emotion. Pisces again. Some of you could have Pisces in your main 3. Or someone who will be playing a significant role in your life this month may have Pisces in their main 3. But we have the key phrase, a leaf drifts on water, with the message, a feeling of peacefulness can make it seem as if you're floating without a care in the world. Melancholy can feel like being submerged in overwhelming currents. Remember that, like a leaf on the surface of a pond, emotions are always moving. Yeah, so allow yourself to feel through your emotions this month. Some of you could be feeling a bit sentimental, or because you are allowing yourself to feel through your emotions, you could find yourself being quite emotionally sensitive at times, maybe crying out of the blue, or feeling quite emotional at times. Or some of you could be simply choosing to like express yourself, express your emotions through some creative outlet. And that will be you feeling through your emotions. But let's move on to toffee now. And I sense this cleansing going on. So if you find yourself crying, if you feel comfortable with it, if it's okay to do so, allow yourself to cry. Don't hold it in. Don't repress it, because I feel like you crying is a way of your body cleansing and purifying, of you releasing maybe blockages or stagnant energy. It's a way of healing sometimes, crying. Let's see. Also laughing, crying, both of them. Could be a way that our body or nervous system helps itself regulate, or our body cleanses, purifies, purges. The color blue could be pretty significant. But we have playfulness with Leo and wisdom. The key phrase, a litter of puppies tumbles joyfully, with the message, playfulness can make your heart feel full. Have you been having enough fun lately? When and with whom do you find yourself in a joyful mood? If your enjoyment quotient has been low, let your inner child lead the way. And I feel like this month you will be letting your inner child lead the way. With the Knight of Cups, the star is definitely with Pisces. You will find yourself being quite playful, utilizing your imagination, being quite innovative, and allowing yourself to be goofy and have fun. But now I'm going to pull out a card for those who were drawn to popcorn. Doggies, puppies, or just animals in general could be quite significant. You could be spending a lot of time with animals this month or with animal companions. Or feeling a stronger connection with animals as well as with children or like younger generations. But we have self-expression with Leo and material. The key phrase, painting a self-portrait, with the message, find the right fuel for your self-expression. Picking something, whether a painting, a meal, a hairstyle, or a song, will help you transcend the mundane. Through your creativity, you share your spirit with the world. Yeah, definitely self-expression will be a main theme this month. So yeah, paint a self-portrait if you feel called to do so, maybe to help you connect more with yourself. But some of you will be utilizing some kind of creative outlet as a way to understand yourself better and to reveal more of yourself, new aspects of yourself. And look, another star. You're shining bright this month. There's no repressing, there's no suppressing, there's just allowing yourself to be quite beautiful. Yeah, let's see, things I want to point out. Stars, puppies, dogs, animals. Some of you could have been born in the year of the dog. We also have moons, the phases of the moons, crescent moons, full moons could be of significance. The zodiac sign Pisces. Pisces season is coming through as well, could be important. A show, an event, a performance, a concert. Oh, I want to say someone here does not drink alcohol. They do not indulge in any recreational drugs or have any kind of addictions. That's like a no-no. I just felt called to clarify that or emphasize that. Yeah, and what just came to mind right now is we're staying clean this month, or we're keeping it clean. That could be of significance for some of you. The color blue or a blue dress or blue outfit could be of significance as well, or just the color blue. And I'm seeing something about a handbag, a satchel, a crossbody bag being of importance. And I just want to point out that financially you will be doing well this month, or you will be doing better than last month. There will be financial profit, financial gain this month. And some kind of like achievement or some kind of leveling up in your career, profession, line of work, etc. Okay, but these are all the messages that are coming through for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it brought some guidance and clarity. If it did, then please leave a like or a comment. And if you're new to this channel and you want to stick around for more readings with me, Kim, then please do subscribe. I do offer personal readings. All the information is in my website, and the link to my website can be found in the description box down below. To all of you who watch the advertisements or just let them play in the background, thank you so much for that, since that is the simplest way to support me and to support this growing channel. So if you did, I truly do appreciate it. Before I sign off, I want to give a thanks to my spirit team and your spirit guides for assisting me with delivering these messages to you, as well as your higher self. And I'm wishing you and your loved ones a wonderful month of May. And until the next moment, bye bye.